This is Thumbing Through the Archives, a weekly radio show and podcast focusing on Michigan history, airing every Wednesday night from 5:30 to 7 p.m. on WMIC 660 AM and 95.3 FM. Also streaming in podcast form at our website, senlacbroadcasting.com. Now your hosts Mike Gallagher, Nick Lean, and Erica Frisbee.
All right, and we are back once again with another episode of Thumbing Through the Archives, a podcast exploring the oddities, curiosities, and crimes in Michigan's history. I'm Erica Frisbee. I am the news director here at WMIC WTGV. With me today, per usual,
I am Mike Gallagher. I'm the sports editor of the Clair County News.
And I'm Nick Lean. I'm the assistant manager at Senlac Broadcasting.
I'm also your Worth Township correspondent.
Yep.
In case anybody wants to talk to me about what's going on in Worth Township, I'm your guy.
Been in the news lately.
Yeah. And if you want to talk to anybody about Washington Township,
I'm your guy.
Yeah.
I can fill you in.
There's stuff going on there too.
Not much, but yeah.
just some good, diligent, hardworking people.
Oh, thank you.
Love to see it.
But yes, it's been a hot minute. Worth Township hasn't been completely the reason why we've been off the air. We did not mean to take the entirety of January off. We meant to take just a holiday break. And then life happened.
Yeah, we had a really good Christmas, so just extended into January.
Yeah,
just
why not?
really celebrated this year.
But we're back.
We're back, yeah. We have an interesting topic today, I think.
I have no idea what it is.
Well, I'm glad that
good.
you think it is, because I'm a little bit but also I will admit it's partially because nobody dies.
Yeah.
And Lord knows.
Well, maybe.
Well,
technically, he's
on a technicality,
he's dead.
yes.
Technically, he's dead now.
But it's not the murder mystery stuff that I usually sink my teeth into when writing.
Right.
This may be weird for me to say, considering all the cases we've covered before and all the cases we will cover in the future, but this may be one of the most unsatisfactory endings.
We've had some bad ones.
Especially lately.
Hopefully y'all will change my mind on that, but insofar as my perspective, it's kind of it's not a nothing burger. Nothing burger makes it seem like it's not even worth it. It's an interesting story that doesn't go anywhere. It has a beginning, middle, and then the end is just...
Right. What I'm hoping the ending is, it's going to set up where you leave it up to your own imagination, basically.
I mean, technically, yes.
Okay. Because that's kind of fun.
I mean, yeah, but...
Kind of.
It is, but considering everything that we will get into, you will kind of understand at least a little bit why I would like an answer.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be the best answer. It doesn't have to be the most exciting answer, but I would like to have a solid pin in this story.
Right. So just to peel back the curtain a little bit for the listeners and for Nick, the reason I know what we are going to be discussing today, about a month or two ago in the Jeffersonian, there's a great section called 100 Years Ago in the Jeffersonian.
Oh, yeah. I'm familiar.
Yes, and it's always interesting to read just because it's what was happening around here 100 years ago. And I find it more interesting because of what people found important to report on 100 years ago. So it'll be like, oh, Mrs. Jones went to Detroit to see her sister.
Yeah.
It'll just be some of the...
happenings.
Right, just local happenings. But when I was reading it a couple months ago, there was kind of an interesting one. And I guess I won't say what it said because it'll kind of spoil the episode. But
I mean, we're going to get there anyway.
Right. I was like, well, that'd be a good idea for an episode. So I went to newspapers.com to try and find some more information about it because I wanted to tell Erica about it, but there was only the little blurb in the Jeffersonian. So I was like, I better find some more information before I send it to her. And on newspapers.com, you can clip out articles and save them, and it'll tell you who saved them. So when I looked it up, the top story was already clipped and saved by Erica Frisbee. So
yeah, I think you told me about that.
Yeah, so I was all excited. I was like, oh, I think I got a good...
It's no, I already know everything. Yeah. I've got all of them.
Oh, you think?
Sorry, Mike.
You think I don't know the story about the Jeddo banker from 100 years ago?
Oh, that's what we're talking about.
The worst part is that Mike took a screenshot of that clipping and sent it to me.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like... oh my goodness, that's such a cool topic. And then he was like, no, take another look. And that's when I saw that I heard or he saved it.
Must have been a long
and
time
forgot
ago.
about it.
Yeah. She's working on so many scripts that she doesn't even remember the stuff that she's been reading and working on.
I really just need to go back through my own like newspapers.com archive and just pick out the stuff that I actually haven't done yet.
Right.
There's a bunch.
Yeah.
Because I will literally get interested in a case, start clipping everything that I can find about that case, and then either get interested in another case or just lose interest in the case that I was working on for some reason.
It's a very valuable tool to use for that website unless you clip stuff and then forget about it.
Listen.
It's not a very helpful tool.
It doesn't help also that I don't label my clips whatsoever.
True.
I was going to say.
So it's just clip 1, 2, 3 or
no, it's untitled clip.
Oh, untitled.
Untitled clip,
Yeah.
untitled clip, untitled clip, untitled clip.
That's helpful.
It's so helpful. On the bright side, because of the search engine, I can usually
you can just type in a keyword and
it will bring up everything.
Yeah.
Also, as long as I know the time frames, I'm usually good for that.
So you had mentioned this case, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago. I didn't realize that was the one we were doing today.
Yes.
The story of the Jeddo banker who disappeared.
Yes. So,
With an unsatisfactory ending.
Right.
well, because where did he disappear to?
No.
Right.
We can speculate.
Yeah, I think that's what we're going to have to do because it sounds like he disappeared and Erica couldn't find him. So if Erica couldn't find him, then he made it out. He's on a beach somewhere.
A disclaimer, too, that any and all speculations at the end of this episode are just that. They are speculations, so no angry wives calling us, please.
Yeah.
Or any fellow bankers.
Or fellow bankers.
There may be some banking stuff that I tried my best to get as clear of a picture so I could explain both to you, the listeners, and also to myself because I'm not a banker. I've never been in a financial institution, clerk or otherwise. If anything, a bit of me was tempted to reach out to Tommy, Mike's brother, who works as a loan specialist at Eastern Michigan Bank.
If you were to steal $20,000 and disappear, how would you do it, Tommy?
But that's not what I was going to ask him. I was going to more so ask him about the terminology, but like...
Okay. So I have a question. I know we haven't even gotten into it at all whatsoever, but was this the end of the Jeddo Bank?
Yes.
This was he ruined it for
closed.
everybody.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Because like when you go through old towns, sometimes you can be like, oh, that's the old bank building or whatever. But like if you go through Jeddo, like there's not even any signs of a bank being there. I don't think.
Not that I can think of.
No.
Is there a sign of a grocery store?
There is a little gas station
the gas station.
Has what looks like at one point was a grocery store with a deli counter.
Yeah.
The reason why I
Is that
ask
going to
is...
be part of the story?
Yes.
The grocery store?
Possibly.
Okay. All right. Let's hear about this guy. This jerk.
We are very much going into this script being like, he's a jerk. That was not the consensus for...
Oh.
Yeah. So there are some mysteries that may never be solved. That is a fact that we often discuss on this podcast, but when I say this case truly encapsulates the sentiment, I do mean it. There is a reason why it has been 100 years and no one knows the whereabouts of one Squire Langs of Jeddo, Michigan, nor why he decided one day to just up and leave his entire life and reputation as a respectable man behind.
What was his name?
Squire Langs.
Okay, that's what I wrote down.
This is like one of the things we talk about most on this show.
The names.
The names. We need to really be putting together a list of some of our favorite names.
Yeah.
Because we've heard some good ones.
I mean, we rattle them off every single time we talk about the names, so I feel like we don't actually need the list written down. We have it. We have the list.
Right. Just in case there's some good
ones. Make like a good trivia card game or something.
It would make a fun... It would also make a fun merch item.
A t-shirt, yeah.
Okay, so let's get back into the actual script. We only made it 2 paragraphs in. Doing great, guys.
Well, it was a funny name.
It was.
Yeah.
Squire Langs.
I don't quite know how to describe it. It's like almost cowboy-y, but not quite.
I think of it more as like a fancy guy, like a squire. Like
that is true.
I've never heard that used as a name. It's more of like a title, isn't it?
Yeah, like somebody squire is usually the like knight's assistant, basically, right?
Yes.
Cool.
And then esquire is a lawyer.
Right.
So this case is an odd one, and not only due to the unsolved questions, but also partially because of the public reaction when news first broke of the goings-on. But per usual, I'm getting ahead of myself. Our man of mystery, as it were, did not begin mysterious. Squire Edwin Langs was born in Brentford, Ontario, Canada on November 3rd, 1877 to John and Barbara Langs, about 5 or 6 months after his parents' April 1877 marriage.
April 18th. It's my birthday.
Well, April 1877.
Oh, I thought you said April 18th.
No, sorry, 1877.
Damn, that's not my birthday.
No.
I can see where it got that, though.
Thank you. The fact that I only listened to part of the sentence, yeah.
I'm used to it.
Yeah. Oh. I heard my birthday, and then I tuned everything out. That, people do that.
I'm sorry, it was such an easy joke, though.
When you hear your birthday, you're like, oh, that's my birthday.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Keep trying to dig yourself out of
I'm
the
not
hole.
a jerk. I'm not a jerk.
I listened to my girlfriend.
I just heard my birthday.
So Squire was named after his paternal grandfather, who would go on to serve as a father figure to the child after John passed away from diphtheria in August 1881 when Squire was 3.
Do we want to speculate what that illness is? Or can we just chalk it up to being a old-timey?
It's a Wild West illness.
It's kind of an old-timey illness. To my understanding, it's like a swelling sickness, like the lymph node swell.
Okay.
He was sick for 9 days.
Okay. My guess is that somebody dipped their fingers or toes in the water and they got sick from it.
Diphtheria.
Mm-hmm. Like they just got a little bit wet.
You're really proud of yourself for that one, huh?
Yeah. Like this amount of water on my leg could kill me back in the 1850s.
Listeners, Mike came in with his pant leg a little bit wet, and now it's a crisis.
It could be.
You could have diphtheria.
Yeah.
So in March 1883, a little less than 2 years after John Lang's death, Barbara would go on to marry Squire's stepfather, John Gordon Lewis. From this marriage, 3 children were born: Squire's half-siblings William Lewis, Sarah Lewis, and John Gordon Lewis Jr.
That's a good name.
There isn't any information to suggest that Squire was mistreated or ignored in any way by his mother's new family. If anything, research, like Squire being summoned home in 1905 and 1906, years after he had left home and settled in Michigan, due to the illnesses of his half-siblings, suggest a fairly typical, if not close, family relationship between Squire and his half-siblings without resentments or awkwardness. Squire began to make a name for himself around 1892, popping up in the Times-Herald.
Wow.
Yeah, the Times-Herald had a Canadian news section, at least back in the day.
Awesome.
I don't know if they still have it.
Were they based
I
in
doubt
Canada, or was it just...
There was just so much business happening between Sarnia and Port Huron that it was
they had
necessary.
a section covering
Yeah.
what was going on there?
So Squire, as he started making moves in the world, both academically and with jobs, he started popping up more and more, starting in 1892. I believe he technically had one of his college exams in 1890, like his entrance exam.
They reported on that? Or you just found that?
I found that.
Okay.
I can't remember where I found it, but
Okay.
there's a chance that they did report on it in the newspaper, but
Right.
like I'm pretty sure that it was more so like in a family history note.
Mm-hmm.
That's another thing. I made a lot of family trees on Ancestry.com. I was trying to find Squire so hard that I was just going through all the genealogy.
Mm-hmm.
Squire's mom, Barbara, just did not have good luck when it came to husbands. She outlived her second husband as well.
Well,
John Gordon Lewis died in 1898, about 2 years after Squire graduated from Woodstock Baptist College in Ontario.
great name for a college.
Woodstock?
Woodstock Baptist. It's like a oxymoron. Is that the right word for it or no?
Yeah.
Also in 1898, Squire would buy land in St. Clair County's Grant Township,
Now we're talking.
specifically in the unincorporated community of Blaine, with the plan to continue the former residence farm. A quick aside about Grant Township, as it will serve as the main setting of our tale. The township was organized in 1867 and covers 29.8 square miles, most of which is farmland. Lumbering was another large industry in the township, with manufacturing only found in the township's one foundry, which was used mainly to produce farm equipment. Like literally, they literally only had that to
Yeah.
keep the farming stuff up.
Right. Well, and if you think about Grant Township as it stands today, that's pretty much the same
Yep.
as what it is, just farmland.
Yep.
The Blaine General Store,
Yep.
That's not even there anymore. I mean, it is, but it's not open.
not open.
So the township is about 15 miles northwest of Port Huron and about 5 miles west of Lake Huron. Jeddo, one of, if not the only, main community of Grant Township, is located about 18.5 miles northwest of Port Huron and about 10 miles south of Croswell. It was located on one of the main railways of the area, with an 1888 history boasting the village had several stores, a grain elevator, flouring mill, etc., and a Methodist Protestant church, as well as the township's only post office.
Can we assume that the actual village of Blaine would be where the general store is now?
Yes.
Like, is that?
Yeah, it's about, Blaine was/is about like 2 to 3 miles away from Jeddo.
South, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah.
We were saying.
Yeah.
Jeddo was originally called Pottersburg for its postmaster, Nelson Potter.
Awesome.
No idea
That's
why.
better than Jeddo.
I was going to say, I have no idea why they had to change the name other than that they did so in 1864, about 5 years after the village had been established.
That's the second time that's happened on this show, right?
Yeah.
That happened in, what was the guy's name? It was Blaine.
Yeah.
But it was like Gannetsburg or something, or Gannett's Corners or something like that.
I can't quite remember.
Yep.
The guy owned the general store,
Right.
or the post office or something, so
Right.
they named the town after him.
Then the inverse happened with Melvin. It was Hogtown, but then they changed it to Melvina after the postmaster's wife.
Oh, and Sandusky was,
Sanilac Center.
was it? What was
Yeah.
the guy, though? He was like a...
Wildman Mills.
Wild
Yeah.
Mills,
Yeah.
He was from Sandusky,
Wasn't it
Ohio.
Wildman's Corners or something? Or am I making this all up?
There was something
But
like
not
that.
Sandusky.
I don't think Sandusky.
Wild Man Corners. That would be a
That is
nice
a
place to
good name,
live.
too.
Yeah.
That too, yeah.
I'd love to live there.
So it appears that Squire was rather close with his paternal grandparents. Research suggests that Squire's grandparents moved with him to Michigan in 1899 to help keep the house and get the family farm started. Grandma was helping with the house, and both Squire 1 and Squire 2 were out in the fields.
That's cool.
The grandparents only ended up moving out after Squire got married in 1902.
Okay. Do you happen to know where they moved to?
They moved back to Canada.
Oh, okay.
Speaking of marriage, Squire met his bride, Minnie Brothwell, probably in Port Huron around 1901, with
That's such a good name.
Brothwell.
Minnie Brothwell.
It's a romantic
Damn it.
interest in like a Victorian era chick flick.
Okay. We'll power through.
Yep.
I just had to say it's a good name.
That's the criteria, like for what you pick to cover is.
I was gonna
gotta
say,
be.
like, honestly, Mike and Nick are having a great time, so like, why? Yeah, I should stop worrying so much about the actual
definitely. The content. Yeah.
or level of quality, honestly.
Right.
Yeah, just find the ones with the good names.
So yeah, Minnie Brothwell. They met probably in Port Huron around 1901, with research suggesting that the courtship happened quickly, taking place over 2 months at the most before the pair married at Minnie's grandmother's house on New Year's Day in 1902. Prior to her marriage, Minnie had worked as a domestic servant, possibly boarding in her employer's home for the time. Minnie might have taken on that line of work early, as her father died when she was 11, and her mother seems to have taken on housekeeping work to support herself and her daughter. If we are to go off of newspaper mentions, it would appear that the young couple were very social, both together and independently. Squire, for instance, would go on to join a Masonic lodge in Lexington, which went alongside his other club obligations, such as his membership in the Knights of the Maccabees,
Okay.
a fraternal organization started in Canada. It appears that his club ties allowed him to network, allowing him to leave behind farming for the more lucrative lumbering industry in 1909. It's possible that the career switch was due to family changes, though it is not clear when the adoption occurred. The Langs' adopted son, William Edwin, was born in 1908, with research suggesting that William, who preferred going by the nickname Ted,
Ted Edwin.
yeah,
Okay.
I think it's because of the Edwin that he
Right.
preferred the Ted.
Okay.
William had been with the Langs from early childhood, if not infancy. So 1910 census, he shows up as a 1-year-old as their son, even though several sources have made it clear that he was adopted.
Okay.
It is not clear why Squire and Minnie chose to adopt. I couldn't find anything to suggest if he was like a family member's child that they had taken in, or if they had fertility struggles, or what. Just accounts made it very clear that this was not their biological child. That being said, despite not being biological, they adored Ted, with Squire being reportedly very proud of his son and his accomplishments.
Nice.
In addition to his business moves and personal social obligations, Squire threw himself into civic duty upon earning his American citizenship in 1906. Just the year after he earned citizenship, he was nominated to be the Republican candidate for Grant Township supervisor. He became the township's Republican convention delegate in 1908, and in 1909 he was nominated to be the township clerk. While I could not determine if he was a clerk in 1909, I did confirm that he served as a township clerk after being nominated again in 1910.
Okay.
That's
so
weird.
1909 would have been like a partial term, probably.
Possibly a partial term. I also don't know if at the time they were just doing it by like 1 year terms rather than like the 4 year terms that we're used to now.
Okay.
I'm not 100% sure.
Right.
So it is possible that he was like nominated in 1909, became clerk in 1909, and like 1910 was just a continuation of the 1909 term kind of thing.
Right.
But to my understanding, it seems to be like a separate thing. I'm not 100% though.
Okay.
Well, 1910 marked some notable changes for the Langs. In addition to Squire's clerkship, the year saw Minnie's mother passing away in June and the family moving into a new home in November. It was 1911 that marked a new chapter for Squire and his family. That year, on Wednesday, November 15th, the Jeddo Bank of Livingston and Company opened with a capital stock of $20,000, over $600,000 with inflation, give or take, and Squire was appointed/hired as the bank's cashier. When the bank was organized in 1911, it was a private institution, but ultimately the bank became a state entity as of 1921. From that, all that you need to know is that ultimately it is the state who is chartering and regulating the bank rather than the federal government. It seems that Jeddo Bank could have been a member of the Federal Reserve based on the involvement later of federal agents in the case, but we'll get to that. While there was a president and a vice president of the bank, it would appear that Squire was, for all intents and purposes, the main, if not only, manager day to day. He was the only guy.
Right.
It was a role that Squire seemed to excel in, with a biographical sketch for a 1912 history of St. Clair County praising him for his work as clerk. They went so above and beyond. Like, the beginning of this feels like somebody who's trying to meet the word limit on an essay. Let me just read you the first sentence, which is 5 lines long.
Wow. Different times.
As money or any other medium of exchange is the lifeblood of business and commerce, it is evident that bankers who manage and control the circulating medium stand related to the public as the physician who has his finger on the pulse of the patient and has the power of controlling his constitution for better or worse.
Man, we need to get back to reporting like that.
I don't know about that.
Let's have fun with it.
That's just so unnecessary.
The finger on the pulse of the patient. It really paints a picture.
Does it though?
I was going to say, like, again, this is like just the intro
Picture,
stuff.
maybe a picture, but not what it needs to be painted.
Yeah. No member of the business community has a greater responsibility than the banker. And any community or city is much to be congratulated which has at the head of its finances men of thorough training, staunch ability, and moral dependability. A young man who ably realizes and meets the requirements of his responsible position is Squire Langs, cashier of the Jeddo Bank.
I was just going to say, how long did it take to mention his name?
End of the first paragraph.
Okay.
Also, this is pre-Great Depression, right?
Yes.
Yeah, they would not be writing that.
No. No, they would not be.
So he was very highly thought of
Yes.
as a banker.
Yes.
Like more than a mayor or a sheriff or the town doctor, the guy that handles your money is
Yeah.
the most important.
Wow.
In some
I can
fairness,
see it, though.
in some fairness, a bit of me is like, I should have gone back and like looked at this author's like treatment of like other people.
Yeah, that would have been
True.
interesting.
Like,
to
I should
see.
have seen if everybody got as heavy-handed an introduction.
Right.
Maybe he got really good terms on a loan, and
Right. This guy is just the best banker.
Thank God for Squire Langs.
Yeah.
So the job, from what I could find, entailed collecting taxes,
Ooh, we don't like that.
overseeing mortgage and credit accounts for local businesses, And that was in addition to the usual deposits and duties we associate with bank cashiers nowadays.
It's interesting that it's also all the taxes, like collecting the tax, essentially what a treasurer would do.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird that he was so highly thought of when his job was mostly collecting taxes and keeping up on people's loans.
Yeah, he had technically had to take several people to court.
Right, like that. I wouldn't really like that guy.
But he was also...
I mean, not that I don't pay taxes or loans, but...
Good save.
Yeah. I mean,
also
I don't have
loans.
to like the people that tax me or make me pay my loans.
Good save.
Yeah. That statement has nothing to do with the good people at Clair County Bank either.
Is he collecting taxes for just like local stuff?
I believe for local stuff. So possibly on behalf of the county when it comes to like the big...
But not like federal or state taxes.
Not
or
to my
anything
understanding,
like that.
though. More like township stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Is he still the clerk at this time? Probably
Yeah,
not.
yeah.
Oh, he is. Okay.
I believe so.
He's had an interesting...
Career trajectory.
Yeah.
Especially because like I couldn't find anything in research to like say what his major in college was.
Oh, right, because he did go to college, yeah.
So I don't know if he got a business degree
And then became a farmer.
Right. I don't know if like that was the case or if he majored in agriculture and it's just one of those things that like, well, you're good with money.
Right.
I just want to make sure that I'm summing this up correctly. So the guy who was the town or township, who was a town, right?
Township
He's township clerk,
clerk, and then
Bank of
And
Jeddo.
essentially the treasurer and in charge of everybody's money.
Yeah.
Doing all those things, managed to get away with $20,000.
eventually.
I wonder how that happened. He's doing all these things that are supposed to be like check and balance, and it's like...
Well, as you'll later see.
There's a lesson to be learned here.
Well,
Yeah.
again, he was the only check
I wonder
and
if
balance.
we could apply that
That's what I
lesson.
mean.
Wonder if we could apply that lesson anywhere locally.
I'm not going to lie.
This is timely. Did you
I was going to say, I'm not going to lie. As I was writing this up, I was like...
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, history often rhymes.
Mhm.
It's been 100 years. We were due.
We were due.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, he was basically the only check and balance. He did technically have an assistant.
But he had such a great reputation that he was allowed to be the only.
Yeah.
It just seems really alarming.
Yeah.
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 Maybe not back then. That may have just been standard, but right.
Yeah, from where we sit, it's definitely alarming.
Yeah.
On the bright side, part of the reason why it's alarming is because we have grown up / become associated with certain checks and balances in these type of things that were put in place because of situations like this. So on one hand, we can be a little bit assured that certain issues shouldn't happen again. That being said, operative word is shouldn't. Unfortunately, when it comes to money and human will, it's a mess. The job seemed to come with some perks, such as an increased paycheck, which allowed him to buy more property and continue work on a new home in Jeddo proper. He was technically like living in Blaine, so
Jeddo would have been like the big town.
yes. And when he got the
Moving to
bank,
big city.
yeah, when he got the bank job, he got to build his big new house in Jeddo. However, 1912 still had its pitfalls for Squire, as his namesake and grandfather passed away on July 4th, 1912. Still, the Langs continued moving forward, officially becoming Jeddo citizens in 1913 and being rich enough for hired help in 1916. Squire continued his community work, notably in 1917 when he helped organize a local chapter of the Boy Scouts of America and served as treasurer for the East Jeddo chapter of the Red Cross.
Now that's kind of interesting because that was like the only thing that Jeddo was known for a long time was the Boy Scout
Scouts.
camp. Yeah.
So in addition to his Boy Scout work and his work with the Red Cross, Squire was also an avid deer hunter and would often take hunting trips with friends.
This guy just seems to be checking all the boxes. Seems like a great guy to me. I'm waiting for the turning point here.
Though the bank was officially changed in 1921, as I mentioned earlier, from private to state, Squire was able to stay on in the cashier role, and he even technically became a director and stockholder of the bank at that time. He was assisted for several years by an assistant cashier, though by the time 1925 rolled around, he would be running the bank alone for several months after assistant Ruth Lamb quit to focus on her college studies. So basically from June 1925 to almost December 1925, it was just the Squire Langs show.
It was just
at
him
the
and
bank.
all the money.
Yep.
Just like red flag after red flag.
Yeah. Just for 8 hours a day, just looking at all that money piled up in the safe.
So from all outside indications, nothing was amiss for Squire Langs. The banker had been in his role for 14 years, had a peaceful marriage, and a high-achieving son in college, was well paid, and with how limited staffing was, could technically take any time off.
And he also had property and hired help.
Hired help.
And
We
a
could
Boy Scout
assume
troop.
a pretty wealthy guy.
Yeah, pretty wealthy guy. And like literally he was so well respected / like people just assumed that he knew what he was doing that he could just put a sign on the door and lock up the door and be like, hey,
Right.
be back in 5 days up north.
Right.
And people would just
that would
be
piss
like,
me off.
Yeah.
they would just roll
It's
with
the
it.
only bank in town.
They would just roll with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I also would be pressed because it's like, you're telling me that I can only come into town on one day because
Right.
I'm toiling out in my fields for the rest of it.
Right. And you're
And-
up north hunting.
Right. But that being said, everybody just kind of rolled with it.
Yeah.
It did help that his frequent hunting partner was also the justice of the peace.
Okay.
So it was one of those things
So
that
for 5 days, it was like the purge. There's no money and there's nobody to
Yeah.
to stop us from committing crimes. Well, I'm gonna start robbing people then.
it's a good thing that you weren't back in that day. Actually, no. If you were back in that day as somebody from back in that day, you'd be fine. If you were a time traveler getting dropped from now to then, you would be the worst nightmare.
I would either thrive or I would die very quickly.
Sounds like a really good,
No
bad,
in
low budget
between.
movie.
I would
Yeah.
love that.
What
Sure.
happens when a 31-year-old man from 2026 gets dropped into Blaine, Michigan in 1905 with just $20 in his pocket?
Well, they're not going to recognize the tender for one thing.
Well, see, that's why I would die fairly quickly.
Also the diphtheria.
Yeah, the diphtheria, yeah. Oh, crap, I got time traveled into a puddle.
Sorry, literally we have like a couple sentences left and we're done with the first part and can get on to the second part.
Okay.
So, yeah, all he had to do was lock up the building, leave a sign, say when he was coming back, and that was it. He was so respected that no one complained about any vacations or time away, which is part of the reason why it would take several days to raise the alarm that the 48-year-old had gone missing in November 1925.
Right.
And we'll take a quick break.
Stay tuned. Hour number 2 of Thumbing Through the Archives coming up right after your top of the hour news and weather right here on WMIC 660 AM and 95.3 FM.
So, when the United Press, Associated Press, and the Port Huron Times-Herald reported Squire's disappearance, it was Friday, November 27th, and about a week after the man actually went missing.
You forgot to say we're back.
I wasn't going to.
Really?
I was just going to shoot right into it, but
Oh, okay.
we're back.
Sorry.
We do the
I need to know when we're back.
the sounder,
Okay.
like the music,
Okay.
and then I'm coming in with my radio voice, like
Okay.
now back to.
Okay,
And
that's
then-
my bad.
Have you ever listened to the show?
No, I don't listen to the show.
He doesn't like hearing himself.
I don't
on.
like.
Yeah.
Yeah. Never listen to
I get it.
Sports Line. And we're back.
And we're back.
And we're back.
I need a second.
We're back, Erica.
I'm gonna hit you. Yeah, so we're back. When the United Press, Associated Press, and the Port Huron Times-Herald reported Squire's disappearance, it was Friday, November 27th, and about a week after the man actually went missing. Squire, identified by the newspapers as the cashier, secretary, and treasurer of the bank. You should never have that
Yeah.
many titles.
No.
When it's a corporation like that, this is not a small business. This is not a mom and
It's a
pop
state
shop.
bank, isn't it?
Exactly. It's a state
At
bank.
this point?
It's a state bank.
Yeah.
I have no idea why the bank president and vice president weren't more present.
Right.
Like, literally...
Because Squires had it covered.
I was going to say, like, I don't go into it in the script, but there is, like, a subplot throughout a couple of the first articles about the case because they're like, the bank president isn't in town. He's on vacation, and he's going to be on vacation for, like, 2 to 3 more weeks. It was just an ongoing thing of trying to get the bank president at the bank to actually do the darn thing. Mm-hmm. Like, they had to get a former bank president to do the darn thing. Wow. And the only reason why the former bank president was able to do anything still was because he was a stockholder.
Okay.
Like, Jeddo Bank, even without Squire Langs there, it probably wouldn't have been doing too hot in the fall of 1925.
Right.
Squire Langs notwithstanding.
So you might be getting to this, but when did they finally realize that he disappeared? Because you said the Associated Press.
So he basically disappeared on November 21st.
Right.
And November 27th was when the bank examiners were finally rolling into town to take hold of the bank. Because on the bright side, Squire did lock up behind him.
Mm-hmm. But that was about it.
Squire, identified by the newspapers as the cashier, secretary, and treasurer of the bank, had apparently returned home from a hunting trip in Sault Ste. Marie on Wednesday, November 18th, 1925. Though he seemingly resumed his usual business upon his return, police believe that Squire disappeared on Saturday, November 21st. According to police, Squire had driven his Ford sedan to Port Huron that day, taking clothes he'd previously prepared, and he dropped out of sight after calling Minnie to tell her the car was near Tunnel Depot, which was a rail line.
Train station.
Yeah. The Associated Press noted that Minnie believed a rumor that suggested Squire had left Port Huron via a train into Canada, possibly with the plan to see Ted, who was attending Squire's old alma mater in Ontario. So that's what Minnie's thinking was.
His old alma mater, of course, being Woodstock Baptist.
Yes.
Canadian college.
Yes. Yes, indeed.
Notorious party college, too.
So, that was Minnie's theory. Perhaps, but it didn't explain some other odd aspects of the case, such as a third party mailing Minnie the bank's key back. So, the bank building key that Squire had locked up with, that was mailed back to Minnie by a third party.
Okay. How did they know it was a third party?
Envelope. But another third party apparently drove the car back from Port Huron to return it to the Langs. Minnie refused to tell the press who the third parties were.
Okay.
And it is possible she withheld evidence from the investigation, as she did admit that she had burned the envelope that the key had been mailed back in.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
When she did share who she thought brought the car back, it appeared to be a dead end, as the neighbor boys that she identified as the ones who probably brought it back. Like, she was like, oh, they were probably called by Squire and asked to, like, bring the car back. And the neighbor boys were like, no, we haven't. No.
Right.
What are you talking about? Like, this isn't even a thing that we would do, kind of thing.
So she's definitely covering for him.
It would appear so.
What I was just going to ask, if you think she's in on it.
Yeah.
It would appear so.
Burning the envelope seems a little extreme.
It was extremely interesting, too, because, like, I can understand not wanting to tell the press a certain bit of information. Like, there's a reason why sheriff investigations all the time don't give all the details out. Mm-hmm. But when people would ask her about this stuff, she would be like, it's nobody's business. And it's like, your husband is missing.
Yeah, it kind of is.
Right.
If not covering for him, I don't, like, it's one of those things of, like, it almost makes you wonder if she just straight up killed him and, like, has him in, like, the backyard or something. Right. And it's like, oh, no, he went missing.
Right.
Yeah, she sounds more suspicious than him at this point.
So, given the care taken with the key and Squire's existing reputation, friends and family were confident that all bank funds would be accounted for. Still, there was some concern, as Squire had been the only employee for several months, with the last major accounting of the funds happening 2 months prior to his disappearance. That check-in reported resources of $56,216, which is a little over $1 million now, with total deposits of over $33,000 or almost $600,000 now. While State Bank Examiner A.C. Smith began the daunting task of piecing together the bank's finances from what was left behind, friends and family worried that if Squire was not safe with family in Canada, he must have encountered hardships on his journey and thus was in trouble amongst strangers. Again, nobody thought he did anything wrong.
Right.
Everybody
they were just like, oh no.
Exactly. Like, everybody was very much like, he's in trouble.
Wow.
This poor guy. What are we to do? We need to help him. Like, there was no, like, and again, maybe it's because of the time that we live in now. Maybe it's how we were raised, or I don't know. But, like, I feel like even if we heard this from the offset, like, thumbnail sketch of, like, oh, bank employee for 14 years, like, went completely missing.
I can't even think of, like, a comparison for, like, nowadays. Like,
Right.
If you could think of a person like that, and they disappeared, and you would be like more concerned.
I was going to say, most times, like nowadays, it's the Squire Langs, like the bank cashiers or treasurers who are getting like held up / like getting ransomed or kidnapped for like the bank stuff. Whereas this is.
Yeah, I can't think of an example of somebody where you're. At first I thought like D.B. Cooper, but from the get-go, he was like a suspect in a crime.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, this is so inside of a job that he's not even a suspect right now.
I'm thinking of, like, and maybe I'm off on this one, but, like, if Mayor Luscitis one day stole all the town's money,
it would be that level. It would have to be that level.
I think I would think, oh no, what happened? Like, is he okay? Like, not.
Right.
But
no.
even that's not even the exact right comparison.
If Al DeMott was accused of embezzling,
yeah, I would be very worried.
Right, exactly.
I'd
like,
start a search party.
Exactly.
You'd be like, oh no, what did he have going on to make him
what
resort
happened to
that?
Al? Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, it really takes a certain person, which like
Right. Apparently Squire was.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm already forming my theory. I think I got it figured out.
You think Minnie killed him?
No.
That's what I'm going with, at least so far. Yeah.
That was honestly a theory that I had not considered until like we were just talking.
You're just
I was like,
reading
you
it
know
out
what?
loud. Yeah.
Bank resources over $1 million in today's money, at least, with total deposits of over $600,000. So hypothetically, cash on hand would have been at least $33,000 in their money back then. Despite the mystery of his disappearance, Squire's community remained supportive of him. Friend, hunting partner, and Justice of the Peace Grant Birch told the press that Squire did not seem troubled or preoccupied on the recent hunting trip, and mused that had he been planning to disappear, be it via suicide or a concerted effort to leave his life behind and live elsewhere, it would have been easier to do while away from the area. Which I do technically have to agree with that.
Right. But he kind of said that in a joking manner.
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
He wasn't the only one bringing up the possibility of Squire having committed suicide, but he was definitely the most outright with it, in part because he was saying that there's no chance that he did.
Right.
Which, honestly, in my opinion, from everything that I've found, if he did die after his disappearance, it would have been an accident kind of thing.
Nobody was suspecting suicide.
Right. So, out of the area family reported that they had not seen Squire, with both of his half-brothers and his son unaware of any possible plans the man could have, or even motivations for wanting to leave. Both Ted and Minnie attested to the fact that Minnie and Squire's relationship was a normal one, with no major quarrels or tensions, and though there were reports of Squire being seen with a woman after he went missing, friends and neighbors insisted that if Squire had a vice, it was not for women or drink. When the report came that he had been seen with a woman, for one thing, it sounded like a one-off report, but also it was a very quickly discounted report because everybody was like, that's not Squire.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably why they never found him.
Honestly.
Right.
It's like, oh, not him.
His employers at the bank had no reported issues with Squire during his 14 years of service. Like, there had been no, like, pay issues, there had been no arguments, there had been no, like, performance plans or anything in that realm. For all intents and purposes, there was a reason why they just kept leaving this guy by himself.
Imagine putting your only employee on a performance plan.
So, in addition to, again, having good work performance and all that other fun stuff, Squire was well paid. In addition to his salary, he also owned 20 shares of the bank's stock,
Wow.
with each share totaling $100 or about $1,800 now.
Wow.
Literally, the only person who technically had more stock than he did was the bank's president.
Right.
And that was only counting the bank's president's wife's shares, too.
Wow.
Which peeved me off, I'm not going to lie. They're like, oh, well, if we add his wife's, then he has the most. And it's like, if we're going off of like his shares alone,
Oh, yeah.
then no,
Yeah.
the president did not have more.
Yeah.
Right. They weren't his shares.
They weren't his shares.
If it was his wife's shares and they weren't in both of their names, then those were her shares.
But they included it.
Different
on
times.
his.
Because it would look bad.
Yeah.
If
the-
this guy who did everything at the bank had
The
more
most
stock
shares.
than the actual
Yeah,
president.
especially
Wow.
the president who nobody can track down. The president
Right.
who's more hard to track down than the guy who actually went missing.
Right. Wow.
Yeah, like literally the guy just took his sweet time getting to the bank.
Nah, I'm not worried about it.
Squire's got it.
Yeah, Squires has
Squire's
got
got
it.
Squire's gone, sir. Oh, no.
He'll be back. He always comes back.
Until he didn't. Though Ted did say that there was an area farmer who had once threatened Squire, most likely in connection to the collection lawsuit Squire brought on the bank's behalf against local farmers. Kind of as you guys were mentioning earlier about like how is he so well liked if he's
Right.
if he's doing the collection efforts. According to Ted, there was at least maybe one guy who had a beef with him because of that. But even so, Squire didn't seem worried about that in any way, shape, or form. Ted said that like the letter that he had received from Squire, which had been written on the Thursday before he went missing, everything was normal. It was affectionate. It wasn't like overly affectionate in a way of like, oh, I'll never see or talk to you
right.
again. It was very much more like,
Hey, buddy, how you doing?
yeah, like love you, Dad, that
Yeah.
kind of thing. Not like dramatic.
Right.
Just very much like this is another weekly letter to my son. On the bank's front, the mess was becoming clearer as the investigation deepened. It did not help that even prior to Squire's leaving, there had been a call to stockholders for a 100% financial assessment of the bank. That is, that the stockholders were being asked to bring the bank capital back to the original $20,000. So essentially being asked to pay
Right.
By the state.
by the state / by like the bank. They had to go to court for the assessment stuff to get levied. So
Was that in order to close the bank?
not to close it, but just to keep running it. So, and that happened about in the summertime of 1925. And only $9,000 of the $20,000 that had been ordered had been paid. So the bank was already operating below the advertised capital up until Squire left. Plus, it didn't help that there were rumors that the bank was going to return to being a private institution. So a bunch of people were like, oh, well, that's why Squire left. He's letting them do what they need to do, and then he's going to come back. He's just on vacation. Even though, again, like, you would think that he would tell his wife.
Right.
At first, perhaps just echoing local sentiment, bank examiners assured the public that there would be no losses and that the books were well kept. However, by December 2nd, examiners had to admit that Squire's books were sloppy and that it was making their task that much harder. It was also reported that Squire had taken $578, or about $10,405 now, probably as his salary, before he left, and he marked that as a withdrawal in the bank's ledger. So he took money before he left, but he marked it down.
Was he not supposed to take it?
It was one of those things where it seemed that it wasn't his usual pay time.
But he must not have thought he was doing anything wrong if he, like, voluntarily.
Right.
It's either that or it's like, hey, I'm taking my salary for the month early kind of thing. I think it was maybe more of that, and like probably would have been discounted as that if he had come back.
Right.
But he didn't. People were surmising that was probably his salary amount, be it for the month or in general. But he did mark that withdrawal in the bank's ledger. That may have been the only withdrawal that he marked in the bank's ledger, though, as we will find out. However, as investigators found and reported on December 5th, 1925, Squire had stolen about $200 or $3,600 now in government bonds, with an arrest warrant formally authorized against him. Investigators were sure there was far more theft, but the mess of the bank books made it hard to determine what was actually missing from the bank funds. In a bid to help out investigators, bank customers arrived with their own records and checkbooks so the investigators could even attempt to account for the funds.
Bootlickers.
Yeah. I was thinking it, but I wasn't going to say it.
Well, it was also partially because...
Oh, I'm going to help out the federal government.
Well, they...
Tax me some more, too.
I mean, in some fairness, it's like, hey, we don't know how much money was in the bank, so we don't know how much money actually belongs to y'all.
That's true.
So if you don't tell us what's yours,
we don't know.
We're taking it all.
That's fair.
So it may be a little bit bootlicky, but also like there was calls by examiners and investigators for people to bring it in.
Right.
And also, again, just financially speaking,
probably wanted to make sure that their money was
exactly.
I was gonna say
they
like be able to withdraw it.
If anything, it was like assurance for them as well. So maybe a little bit brown nosy, but honestly, for the most part, I think it was more so like
they had motivations.
Yeah, if anything,
keep their own money.
If anything, it was like, oh crap.
Yeah,
it's gonna be all gone in like 4 years for them anyway. So.
Right.
They didn't know that. So the bank bonds were a hint at Squire's MO, whether the investigators knew it or not. The bonds, which had been deposited by a private citizen, had been given directly to Squire. He would hold on to the bonds personally instead of actually depositing them.
Like each one that came in. That was something I wanted to ask you, if this is something he's doing over a long period of time and slowly like funneling it out, or if he just impulse took all of it at once, or if you're getting to that.
Getting there. Mm-hmm. In addition to just taking things and not writing down the deposit, he would also fudge deposit numbers. So, for instance, an example that the newspapers gave was a deposit for $1,200 became a deposit for $12.
Wait.
I'm not joking.
He's still a good guy.
Like,
not even doing I thought it was going to be like in that Office Space movie where they're taking fractions of cents off of deposits or whatever.
No. He's literally just like, oops, forgot a comma.
Wow.
I wonder if in his head he thought he could like do that. Be like, oh, if like someone called him out. Whoops. That wasn't supposed to go there. Let's fix that.
And considering the fact that, again, he had only one assistant.
And he could probably just gaslight the assistant into like, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. I'm the clerk and the treasurer and
I was going to say,
that.
From the looks
I own more stocks than the president.
I was going to say, I didn't look into it partially because I didn't want to like get myself sidetracked. So Ruth Lamb was the assistant cashier. A prior assistant cashier had been either a Mary Lamb or an Ellen Lamb, possibly sisters, or maybe even mother-daughter. But the thing that caught my eye was like one of the first officers when the bank opened in 1911 was also a Lamb.
Oh boy.
So I'm thinking Mr. Lamb got Miss Lamb in there and then like, oh, your younger sister, it's her turn.
Right.
So if not the nepotism, like there were just like too many like family enmeshments and friend enmeshments that it's like he may not even had to gaslight the Lambs. It may have been like, oh no, like Mr. Squire knows exactly what he's doing. Yep. My dad told me so because my dad was the one who put him in as cashier in the first place, kind of thing. Right. There was no checks and balances,
right?
Especially because the supervising entities that be of the bank, the president and vice president, weren't doing much,
right?
If anything, with the bank.
Do you have a title for this yet?
Technically, why Jeddo Bank failed the theft and disappearance of Squire Langs, but if y'all have different ideas, please.
I wrote down the Great Jeddo Bank Mystery.
Yeah,
I'm down for that.
Yeah.
It's
not a mystery though, because I know what happened. I'm just waiting until the end.
Okay.
Oh, you think you know?
Oh, I'm pretty sure I know.
Well, thank you for being patient and waiting.
Yep. I want to get all the facts in there first.
I thought it was an open-ended ending, though. Like,
I mean, I think it is.
Okay.
If Mike thinks he has it solved.
He looks pretty confident.
He does.
I feel pretty good about it.
At least somebody does.
Yeah. But I'm still waiting, just in case. We got a little bit of script left.
So, yeah, deposits were written down super wrong. 1,200 to 12.
That's crazy.
When I saw that in the newspapers, my eyes just about bugged out of my head because, again, Nowadays, it's the whole shaving fractions of cents off of bigger expenditures. Back then, apparently not so.
Mm-hmm.
With the bank's collapse all but assured when Squire locked the doors behind him for the last time, Tuesday, December 22nd, 1925, seemingly was when they began nailing the coffin closed, with George Watson of K-Pac appointed to be the bank's receiver, the custodian responsible for directing the institution through its liquidation.
It's a sad day.
Sad day. Partial returns were showing $18,000, almost $330,000 of unrecorded liabilities or money owed to depositors.
Oof.
Yep.
How much? 18,000
Back then.
Yeah.
In today's money, it would be $330,000 now.
Wouldn't that devastate like a town the size of Jeddo?
Yes.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
that would just, everybody would just be,
Oh, yeah. We'll get there.
okay.
We'll get there.
He was a good guy, though.
Oh, yeah. That was partial returns were showing 18,000. Full losses were unclear at the time, but were rumored to be between 40 and 50,000
In that time's money.
in that time's money.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what did those people do? Just die?
I mean, that was definitely how I would respond.
That's how
but-
I would just give up. Like, well,
Yeah.
This is pre-FDIC.
Yeah.
yeah.
Because it's pre-Great Depression, too.
Yeah. Investigators believe that the money skimming had begun all the way back in 1922, with the faulty bookkeeping meant to hide the fact. It was presumed that the missing $18,000 had gone straight to Squire. It was also possible that Squire had taken another bond, this one valued at $10,000. Another assessment was ordered, with George Watson to find a way to force stockholders to pay the assessment as ordered by the state, and thus properly pay back the depositors. Watson would be aided in the task by the Livingston family, who was
The original
the original,
bankers.
who owned 30 shares of the stock, if you combined all of them together. But because they were all men, it didn't happen like that.
Mm-hmm.
Different times.
Different times. But
I'm surprised she was even allowed to own stock, to be honest.
that makes two of
It was
us.
such different times.
A bit of me is like wondering that that's part of the reason why they were like, we're going to count it as his, because
Right.
like she
She's-
can't own it.
She's the
Right.
Mrs. such and such.
Yeah.
First
Right.
name and last name.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, the Livingston family still had 30 shares of stock in the bank, so they still had a decent stake in the bank. But they promised to help pay any costs necessary to liquidate the darn thing.
Like, get it out of there.
Yeah.
Just, they wanted it
Shut it down.
shut it down. December 22nd, 1925 was also the day Squire's reputation finally died among his community, with his actions placing many of his previous supporters on the brink of bankruptcy or even poverty. Squire was sued several times after his disappearance in regard to a property deed.
That seems
How'd they
kind of
serve 'em?
pointless, doesn't it?
Huh?
Yeah.
How'd they serve them?
How did
Well,
they?
Let's get past that. They were suing him for the property deed, which makes it sound as if, like, you know how he was taking bonds and just
Yeah.
sticking them in his pocket?
Yeah.
He ran off with that, too.
It sounds like he was taking people's
Oh.
deeds
Wow.
and just...
I'm still, you might be getting to this, but I'm still like fixated on his wife. Like, why? This is clearly something this man had been doing and planning and put a lot of thought into. And if he did build up to this grand escape to start a new life with all of this money, like, why is his wife covering for him? She
Right.
clearly was.
Right.
I have a theory, and we'll kind of
We'll
get
talk
to
about
that,
it.
but
My theory's
After.
taking some hits. The more we find out
Mike,
about
you were
it.
so
you're
confident.
so
though.
confident.
Well, you built him up to be such a great guy. I mean,
I'm sorry.
you tricked me.
He tricked everyone.
Yeah. That is kind of just a jerk move.
It is.
To steal the property deeds. Like, what?
It's a little extra. Yeah,
Like, what are you
that's-
going to do with those? Like,
You-
the only thing you could use it for is potentially, like, collateral for a loan.
Collateral,
But,
or like
but if he's on the run,
if you're being like extremely fraudulent and like trying to sell.
But no one ever showed up to like claim
right.
the property.
Right. So he didn't sell them.
he may
Right,
have taken it
exactly.
just as
Wow.
backup plan if he needed.
Either that, or maybe he was just like a kleptomaniac when it came to
That's
like.
what I'm wondering.
If it
I
came,
own all of
Well,
Jeddo.
Yeah.
He's just
Like, at
sitting out
least-
in the woods somewhere.
Despite both the county sheriff's office and the state police being dispatched in the search, Squire stayed missing as time ticked closer to summer 1926 and the depositor claims hearing, with the latest rumor being that if he was still alive, he had made it to a western state, south to Mexico, or further north to Canada.
That's what I think.
So he either went south or north.
Or west.
Or west.
Yep.
But definitely not east.
No.
We know he didn't go east.
No. Why would you go east?
There's a lake there.
He definitely went somewhere, though.
Wherever he was in a more comfortable situation than George Watson, who faced about $70,000 in depositor claims while only having $20,000 in hand to pay said claims. Even when the bank only expected to pay 50 cents for every dollar owed to depositors and creditors,
Still wouldn't cover it.
I was going to say, the tentative tally of almost $65,000 in owed liabilities, about $1.2 million today, had stockholders wincing, especially as they fought with certain insurance companies to honor the bonds stolen by Squire. Payments of 40% were issued to all claimants in the bank liquidation hearing in late August of 1926, and another assessment for $20,000 was issued against stockholders, with particular attention paid to those who had not responded to previous assessment calls. One unresponsive stockholder was Squire himself, who found himself as part of a 1928 lawsuit brought by Watson to force stockholders to pay their part of the 1926 assessment. The case, for the most part, would go dormant from this point on. Squire Lee seemingly stayed gone, and it was impossible to know, both then and now, if he had assumed a new identity and slipped into a new life, if he continued life as Squire Langs but elsewhere, or if he had died very soon after his disappearance. Regardless, Squire would be officially declared dead in 1934, giving Minnie total control over the titles of 4 properties in Grant Township, none of which were stolen from anybody else.
Surprised they didn't take that from him, though.
Shame.
Somehow.
It is unclear how she divided these up, as she shared the heir role with Squire's 2 brothers, and given that Minnie would ultimately move to California, which is west,
Oh boy.
dying there in 1966, it doesn't appear that she kept any land for herself, though it is possible that she gave a parcel to Ted. Ted would go on to die in Grant Township / be buried in Grant Township, so it seems that he probably got a piece of land and stuff, but Minnie at least moved out to California.
That is suspicious.
By the time Squire was declared dead, 8 years had passed, and half the bank's original depositors had been paid accordingly. By the time George Watson died in November 1943, still serving as the bank's receiver, he would have helped her pay almost 59% of the owed deposits.
Good man.
Jeddo's bank receivership would officially be dissolved the following year after a final accounting by the state's banking department. Unlocated offsets were written off, while the remaining assets were either transferred to the State Board of Escheats, paid directly to the state banking department, or used to pay for attorney's fees. Jeddo Bank is no more. Following the bank's liquidation, the building was used for many years as a grocery store.
I was just going to ask when the grocery store was going to come back up.
I just tried Googling a picture of it because I want to see what it looked like, and all I can find are old grocery store pictures. So that is the bank.
It did not specify which grocery store was the bank, though, or vice versa.
So like the gas station in Jeddo?
I have no idea.
Okay.
It didn't say. I did try and find if it said anywhere, but...
Well, I guess we're going to have to drive to Jeddo. Take a good look at the... I've never really took a great look at the buildings other than the party store.
Yeah, that's the one I'm talking about that looks like
that,
at one point it had there's a little deli counter in the back.
Yeah.
Do you think that was the bank counter?
Was the bank?
No.
No, okay.
No, I don't, but I'm not sure.
Can you think of another building in Jeddo that looks like a bank? See,
No.
I can't picture any buildings.
You know how a lot of buildings back then looked kind of like a schoolhouse? A lot of buildings looked like that. They were thin and long. There's a couple like that in Jeddo, kind of on the other side of the street from the gas station.
Right.
I'm wondering maybe, but I don't know.
Unfortunately, it did not say.
Did it have an address?
No. I was going to say it did not give an address or what grocery store it was, just that it had become the grocery store. The grocery store possibly is still standing. We don't know. Also still standing are the many questions left behind in Squire's wake. Why did he leave? Was he running away from something more? Did he assume a new life? Or did he not have a plan at all? There are questions that are getting harder to answer with every passing year, And now as we look back, 100 years removed, I can't help but wonder if we'll be okay without answers, just like the village of Jeddo was all those years ago. But that's the end of my written script. My official theory is honestly that he did make it west to California.
Really?
And that Minnie joined him.
Okay.
That would make the most sense as to why she's also covering for him by like burning
the envelope.
Yeah, the envelope. Why do you think that beyond that? Do you have any, is it just a hunch or like is there?
It's partially a hunch, but also like verifiably she did move out to California and she was going by Mrs. Squire Langs still. Like she wasn't trying to go by Minnie Langs or anything like that. So it seemed that she was still presenting herself, like, if not as a married woman, then, like, at least with a connection. And considering the fact that the rumor is that he made it to a western state, if I was Squire and trying to get the heck out of Dodge, I would try and go as far as I possibly could. And California would be farthest west.
We've also learned on this show that it was a lot easier to get away.
Disappear.
Yeah, like if you think about the Charles Lord case,
Like
the
literally,
only reason those kids got found was because they murdered again.
yeah, literally because they were dumb.
Right.
Like because of how long ago it was, I did just go back and like do a bunch of genealogy searches because it was long ago enough where they could have just used their real name.
Right.
But unfortunately, I was not able to find anything that suggested. And also, I think at some point, Ted also went to California. I don't know if he moved there for a decent bit of time or if he only went out there for Minnie's sake or whatever. But I do believe that he did go out there. At least that is my hunch. I don't have 100% proof, but at the same time, it seems just as likely that or Squire accidentally ending up dead after he
that's what I was wondering.
runs
It's
away
possible she like kept the name because things were in his name and he had died or you know, but there's no one will ever know.
No. What was your theory that got disproven?
Well, I don't know that it was quite disproven, and now like it could kind of twist into your theory as well, that he made it to California.
Oh, yeah?
Have you guys ever seen the movie It's a Wonderful Life?
Yeah.
The Christmas movie, where the banker, he didn't mess up. His uncle messed up with the $8,000 deposit, remember?
Yeah, and then he takes
And then he takes the heat for it. So he takes the heat for it, and he tries to commit suicide. What if Ruth Lamb was the one that was creating all the problems? And like she left that summer, and he tried to salvage it, but he couldn't fix it. So then he disappeared. He said, "I'm just going to make it look like I did it, and then I'm gonna go to Port Huron, and I'm gonna kill myself in Port Huron."
Oh, you think he killed himself?
Well, that's what I thought at first, but now
you're thinking that he made it out to
California. It's like I'll see you in 10 years.
He made it out to California, and he told his story, and then it was made into that movie.
Oh, I see.
Done
That's
with
brilliant.
I'm
What?
done with you.
No,
The timeline matches up.
It does.
The timeline matches up.
It's
I think
And
we
the
should write a
story,
book about
the
this.
story lines up perfectly. Like the guy in It's a Wonderful Life, he was the most respected man in town. Nobody would have ever suspected.
He sold it as a screenplay.
Yeah. Yep. Nobody would have ever suspected him to do it. And it wasn't him. It was his uncle. Just like it wasn't Squire. It was Ruth Lamb. Because you even said it. The Lamb family had been working there just as long as Squire's had been there.
That is a just delightfully overly complicated theory, and I'm all for it.
I'm like, I'm for it, but I'm also like, I'm so mad at it because it's just like.
If you think about it, there's a lot of similarities.
That's the thing that's making me mad, though, is the fact that.
So I have two theories. Either because in the movie, he tries to kill himself.
You need to stop comparing it to the movie. You're losing me.
In the movie, he tries to kill himself and he gets saved by his guardian angel. But as we know, guardian angels aren't real. So if Squire Langs tried to kill himself while he was in Port Huron, he probably just died. Or...
Then how did he get to Hollywood
Well, that's why there's two different theories. Or he did get saved by his guardian angel, and then the guardian angel told him to go to California. And then...
But then how would his wife know to meet him out there later?
Because she heard the same every time you hear a bell ring, an angel gets its wings.
I'm gonna fight you.
So that's how she knew.
I'm gonna fight you. It's
she heard a bell ring
Christmas.
and she knew that he was in California.
If this was Christmas time, I'd be a lot more for this.
Well, it's not my fault that we're doing it in February. I mean, I think a lot of it adds up.
So that's great, Mike. But
Thank you.
I would really
Thank you for at least considering it.
I would really like to go out there and like see Jeddo and pay more attention than just like driving through it.
Yeah, definitely. If it looks like Pottersville.
Yeah.
Whoa, this town looks a lot more like Pottersville than I remembered.
Pottersburg.
Pottersburg. No, from the movie.
Oh.
Right.
Pottersville.
But it was Pottersburg Jeddo was originally.
Was it really?
That we already covered it.
Yeah,
in the movie,
it's
when he kills
Pottersville.
himself, yeah, it's Pottersville. Oh my God!
But I think it's because of like a potter's
How you
field.
said that.
Or isn't that what they called it? Like mass graves?
I mean, true. That is true.
In the movie?
No, just like I don't know. I don't know what I'm getting at.
In the movie, it was Pottersville because the other guy, because he had never been born.
Mike, I haven't seen this movie since I was a child. I'll be honest.
You haven't
with
seen
you,
that movie from the 1940s?
No, I have, but I haven't seen it since I was
you rewatch
a kid
it
at my
this
grandma's
weekend.
house.
You rewatch it this weekend.
You might actually be onto something, though.
I mean,
I am crying.
let's
find out who wrote that.
It's
it
a classic.
pseudonym.
It's a classic movie, and nothing's ever come close to telling that type of story.
If we get a call from the writers of It's a Wonderful Life, I swear to God.
Well, they're all dead.
Right. Jimmy Stewart
It's
as
based.
Squire
I'm
Langs.
sorry. It's based on.
No.
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 Don't tell him.
It's not based on anything.
Oh no! Yeah, no. It's based on a Civil War historian's book that was published in 1943. So
It still lines up.
It
still lines up. He could have met him in California.
Philip Van Doren Stern, American writer and editor.
Where was he from?
Wyalusing, Pennsylvania.
The only place that Squire didn't go.
And he was at Rutgers University in 1924. But it could actually he could be a ghostwriter.
True. This is different times.
So yeah, listeners, if you think that Squire Langs was a reason for the season with It's a Wonderful Life,
let us know.
Let us know.
He had, in the movie, his wife was a great person as well. She stood up for him.
I'm gonna fight you.
She saved him at the end of the movie.
I'm gonna fight you.
She saved up all the money and saved him.
Do you think Minnie did that?
No, but there's similarities.
I think it was the opposite.
Where she went, she protected him at least, and then she went out.
I mean, it's either that she protected him so that she could join him later, or she definitely had him buried in her backyard.
Right.
So my question is too, like with the bonds and the deeds and stuff, like all of that, if it had ever been spent or cashed in or whatever, like would be traceable. Well, I don't know about back then, but in theory, it would be.
In theory, it would be.
So, like, whatever happened to all of that?
I mean, considering the fact that he didn't deposit the bonds and stuff like that, it makes me wonder if it makes it easier to do stuff with them because they're kind of like free floating compared to before. I have no idea. I also kind of like the theory that he was just a kleptomaniac and was just pocketing stuff.
He was clearly very smart and knew what he had.
I was just going to ask, do you think he was very smart or do you think he was very dumb?
I don't think he was dumb.
He was smart enough to get all of those things on his resume, which
right.
I was gonna say,
but maybe just everyone else in Jeddo was really dumb. And
I was gonna say he's also a lot smart.
I had to think about it before I said that one. I said it anyway.
He's also a lot smarter than some of our previous criminals that we've talked about because like this
he got away with it for a while.
Forever.
Yeah, he got away with it.
Well, yeah, true.
Like he also he literally got out of town before he had to deal with any ramifications.
True.
Like he got out before the bomb went off, so to speak.
I'm also surprised that nobody did you find anything about his wife being harassed during the fallout?
It kind of just seemed as if it went from Squire's such a great guy to Squire's such an evil guy. Woe to all of us for whoever had to deal with him kind of thing. So if anything, she got more sympathy because
gotcha.
You poor thing, you had no idea the monster that was laying beside you kind of thing. When in reality, it was probably if not her being in on it, possibly at least a little bit complicit with.
Or her, at the very least, having a hunch.
Right.
Like,
you don't burn
any sort of evidence. Like,
Right.
You just don't.
She must have really loved him.
Or hated him. Again, it's either that she protected him and made it out to California with him, or she killed him and he's in the backyard.
Yeah.
That's literally like...
Yeah, we didn't discuss that option. I mean, we talked about it during your script, but...
I mean, considering the fact that there were rumors that he was seen with a woman, who's to say that she wasn't a jealous type and killed him or something? We have no idea.
That reminds me of the Christmas classic Santa Claus 2
What?
with Tim Allen.
Yeah, with Tim Allen.
We
The
need
similarities.
we need
And Judd Reinhold. And
we need
is,
to.
sorry.
No, I was gonna say we just need
Is
to
Martin
get off
Short
this.
in that one too, or is that the third one?
Ooh, that might be the
Jack
third
Frost.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
third one.
one. Martin Short
We
as
need-
Squire Langs.
We need to get out of here.
That would be awesome. Martin Short as Squire Langs.
We need to get out of here. Well, listeners, thank you so much for tuning back into another episode of Thumbing Through the Archives. Sorry for the wait. Hopefully it was worth the wait.
Just watch the movie and think about it.
Michael.
That's all I'm saying.
I'm going to go home tonight and watch it.
Thank you.
Even though it's not the holidays, but
And it's also like a 4-hour movie.
it is.
So you got to really carve out some time.
Okay, but that was another episode of Thumbing Through the Archives. I'm Erica,
I'm Nick.
And I'm Mike.
and we'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.
This has been another edition of Thumbing Through the Archives on WMIC 660 AM and 95.3 FM. Catch this episode in podcast form every Thursday after the program on our website at SaniLacBroadcasting.com. Thumbing Through the Archives, produced by Mike Gallagher, Nick Lean, and Erica Frisbee, with assistance from Catherine Connolly.